The deep black of space was silent, but silence never meant peace. Far beyond the core worlds near the red nebula of Laura Sector, the galactic med station Trivax 9 floated in calm orbit. It was the most advanced medical facility in the region, run by many alien species, each proud of their healing skills and technology. Dr. Yelrin, a tall, six-eyed alien from the Keth Collective, stood in the main med bay, checking the glowing screens. His smooth blue hands moved quickly as he read patient reports. "So many accidents this cycle," he muttered. His assistant, Core, a small green-scaled creature, replied, "Humanoids are fragile, Doctor. You cannot fix stupidity." Yelrin gave a low, clicking laugh, the alien version of a sigh. "No, Core, but we can at least try." Just then the alarm lights turned red. A voice echoed through the station. "Emergency transmission received. Unidentified distress beacon. Mining vessel registration incomplete. Crew life signs detected. Severe impact damage." Yelrin's lower eyes blinked. "Prepare emergency pods. We may have survivors." Minutes later, rescue drones brought in twisted metal wreckage from a mining ship that had crashed in an asteroid belt. The medbay filled with the smell of smoke and burnt metal. 5 stretchers arrived. 4 carried alien miners in critical condition, 2 already lifeless. But the 5th stretcher was strange. It carried a human. The alien medics had seen humans before, but rarely this far from the core systems. The body looked broken. Arms bent the wrong way, chest covered in burns, blood dripping slowly from the mouth. His ID tag was half burned, but one word was still readable: Blake. Dr. Yelrin ran a scan and froze. His eyes widened and his voice trembled as he spoke. 17 broken bones. Multiple organ ruptures. 2 collapsed lungs. Neural readings unstable. How is he still? The monitor beeped, showing a faint but steady heartbeat. Core looked at the screen and hissed softly. Impossible. No life form can survive this level of trauma. Yelrin nodded slowly. He shouldn't. Yet he is alive, barely. They quickly began emergency procedures. Robotic arms injected nanofluid into the human's bloodstream. Scanners mapped injuries. And the medbay filled with blue light. The alien doctors moved fast. Each second mattered. Then something shocking happened. The human's body twitched. His hand moved. His eyes opened slightly, bloodshot but aware. The medic stopped in confusion. Aaron Blake, the human, groaned. His voice was rough, weak, but full of stubborn life. Where am I?" Core gasped. "He is conscious?" Yelrin leaned close, careful not to touch. "You are in a medical station. You must not move. You have severe injuries." Blake blinked slowly, looking around the room full of alien faces. He coughed once, spitting a little blood, then tried to smile. Figures. Guess I crashed again." The monitors beeped faster. Core stared at Yelrin. "He should be screaming in pain." The doctor checked the pain response level. "It is off the charts." His body is in full pain overload, yet he is awake. Aaron looked at his bent arm, winced a little, and said quietly, "Oh, yeah, it's fine. I've had worse." Every alien in the room froze. To them, pain was something to fear. Most species would faint or die long before such injuries, but the human just shrugged like it was a small problem. Yelrin whispered, "Unbelievable." They rushed him to a stasis bed, trying to stabilize his vitals. Yelrin watched carefully as machines tried to repair broken tissue. His scientific mind couldn't believe what he was seeing. The human cells were reacting strangely. Fast regeneration, erratic heartbeat, powerful chemical surges. Core watched in silence. "He shouldn't live through the night." Yelrin shook his head. "Maybe, but if he does, I must understand how hours passed." The alien medics worked without rest. The other survivors from the mining ship didn't make it. But the human kept breathing. Even with machines assisting him, it looked like his body was fighting back on its own. By the next rotation, Yelrin went to check on him again. The stasis pod lights glowed softly, and the human's eyes were open once more. "Welcome back, Lieutenant Blake," Yelrin said. "Do you remember what happened?" Aaron blinked at the alien. His voice was dry and tired. "Yeah, ship got hit by debris. Lost the stabilizer. Guess I didn't strap in fast enough." He tried to laugh, but coughed instead. Yelrin's upper eyes narrowed. "You suffered catastrophic injuries. You should be dead." Aaron gave a lopsided grin. "Guess someone forgot to tell my body that." Core, standing nearby, muttered to himself, "Humans always think death is optional." Yelrin ignored the comment and focused on the readings. The scan showed something even more confusing now. His bones were already starting to mend. Not healed, but improving at a rate no medicine could explain. "You are healing too fast," Yelrin said, checking the data twice. "This is beyond known biology." Aaron shrugged again, though the motion clearly hurt him. "Fast healing? Not just stubborn cells. My mom used to say I'm too hard-headed to die." The doctor didn't understand the idiom, but he understood the tone. Humans had a strange way of making jokes even when facing death. He recorded the data carefully. The council would want to see this. A human surviving 17 fractures and still awake was something historic, or terrifying. Core, however, looked uneasy. "Doctor, maybe we should sedate him. His body is unstable. His brain could collapse." Before Yelrin could answer, Aaron spoke up weakly. "No sedatives. I hate those, just water, please." Every alien turned toward him again. Water? The man had both lungs partially collapsed, half his bones shattered, and yet his only request was for water. Yelrin signaled a nurse drone to bring a hydration pack. Aaron took it with shaking hands and drank slowly. The simple act made the medic stare in disbelief. After a few moments, Aaron leaned back and whispered, "Thanks, Doc, appreciate the help." Then he closed his eyes again, resting calmly as machines worked around him. The medbay was silent for a long time. Core finally spoke. "Doctor, I think we just met something that refuses to die." Yelrin didn't reply. His 6 eyes were fixed on the human's monitor, where the impossible heartbeat continued, steady and strong. Hours later, Yelrin stood alone, recording his report for the medical archive. Patient, human male identified as Lieutenant Aaron Blake. Subject suffered multiple organ failure, 17 skeletal fractures, deep tissue burns, and cranial impact trauma. By all logic, survival probability is 0, yet subject remains alive and conscious. His pain threshold and regenerative reaction exceed known species parameters. Further observation required. He stopped the recording and looked at the sleeping human through the glass. Humans were known as tough. Yes, explorers, soldiers, risk-takers. But this was different. This was beyond toughness. It was almost unnatural. Core entered quietly. "He sleeps now. The machines say his vitals are stabilizing." Yelrin nodded. "He should be dead, Core, but he is not. That changes everything." Core tilted his head. "Changes what?" The doctor smiled faintly, something rare for his species. "Our understanding of pain, of endurance, of life itself." He turned off the lights, leaving only the faint glow of the stasis pod. The human's chest rose and fell slowly, stubbornly alive. As Yelrin walked away, he whispered softly in his native tongue, "Rest, strange creature of Earth. Tomorrow, we will learn your secret." But before the lights dimmed fully, Aaron opened one eye and muttered, half asleep, "Secret? No secret, just don't quit." The monitor beeped softly in rhythm with his words. Steady, human, unbreakable. Dr. Yelrin did not sleep that cycle. He sat in front of his monitor, reading and rereading the medical data of the human named Lieutenant Aaron Blake. Every number broke logic. Every heartbeat was a defiance of science. The alien doctor rubbed his forehead with one blue hand and muttered, "This cannot be real." Beside him, Core, his small green-scaled assistant, leaned on the counter and looked nervous. "Doctor, the council will ask for your report soon." "What will you tell them? That the human refuses to die?" Yelrin sighed, his 6 eyes narrowing. "Yes, because that is the truth." Inside the medical chamber, Aaron Blake lay awake. His body was covered in healing gel and braces. Machines hummed quietly around him, glowing with pale blue light. But instead of pain, Aaron's expression showed mild annoyance, like someone waiting for a bus that was late. He stretched one arm a little, wincing. "Out, that's a new one." A nurse drone rushed forward and beeped in alarm. "Please, Patient Blake, do not move. Bone repair is still in progress." Aaron smiled faintly. Yeah. Just testing the joints." The door opened and Yelrin entered carrying a tablet. "Human, you are not supposed to move. You still have 15 bones in various stages of healing." Aaron looked up and smirked. "That's 2 better than yesterday. Progress." The alien blinked, all 6 eyes slowly. "Your ability to find humor in suffering is disturbing." Aaron shrugged, which made his ribs protest painfully. "If I don't laugh, Doc, I might start crying." "And that's not really my thing." Kor whispered quietly to Yelrin. He jokes while half his skeleton is broken. What species does that? Yelrin didn't answer. Instead, he began scanning the human again. The readings showed something he could hardly believe. The fractures in Aaron's arms were already closing. Muscle tissue was rebuilding itself faster than their nanobots could track. Hours later, in the observation room, several alien specialists from different worlds gathered around the holodisplay. The topic, the human anomaly. Yelrin stood before them, calm but serious. Observe the data. Within 2 rotations, his bone density increased by 12%. His internal bleeding stopped without intervention. His pain tolerance levels remain unmeasurable. I believe we are witnessing a biological system designed to survive what should be fatal. A tall insectoid alien with crystal wings buzzed irritably. Impossible. That much trauma should destroy nerve coherence. Yelrin pointed at the monitor. Yet here he is, alive, alert, and asking for breakfast. The room filled with confused murmurs. The aliens had healed thousands of species, but none like this. To most of them, pain was something to fear, something avoided at all cost. But humans seemed to treat pain as background noise. Later that cycle, Yelrin returned to Aaron's room. The human was sitting upright now, slowly eating a nutrient pack. How do you feel? Yelrin asked. Aaron smiled weakly. Like I got run over by a tank. Twice, Yelrin tilted his head. That does not sound positive, Aaron chuckled. It means I'm improving. Yelrin sat beside the bed, curious. Tell me, Lieutenant, what kind of world are humans born on? Your biology. It is too durable for a peaceful planet. Aaron looked thoughtful. Earth isn't peaceful, Doc. We've got deserts, oceans, volcanoes, storms that can tear houses apart, animals with teeth bigger than your arm, and diseases that used to wipe out millions. You either adapt or you don't make it. Kor blinked from the corner. And your species. Survived that? Aaron laughed. We didn't just survive. We built cities on top of volcanoes. We climbed the highest mountains for fun. We jump out of aircraft for sport. Humans get bored if things are too safe. Yelrin leaned back in silent awe. That explains much. Your kind has evolved not only to endure danger but to seek it. Aaron nodded. Guess so. We learn from getting hurt. Pain teaches us what not to do, and sometimes what we can do, Kor whispered softly. They use pain as a teacher. The next few days became a storm of research. Aliens came from nearby stations just to witness the human who refused to die. They took scans, asked questions, and tried to understand how a creature could heal so fast. But Aaron wasn't just healing. He was helping. When a maintenance drone malfunctioned and sparked, he limped out of bed, grabbed a tool, and fixed it before anyone could stop him. Yelrin shouted, Human, you are supposed to rest. Aaron just smiled. Can't sit around all day, Doc. I get restless. Even with one arm still in a brace, he helped organize the medical tools and made jokes with the nurses. The alien staff started to like him. His strange humor, his stubbornness, his refusal to act like a patient. One night, a young alien nurse named Tiri asked him quietly, Human Blake, why do you smile so much? You are in pain. Aaron looked at her and said simply, Because smiling hurts less than worrying. Meanwhile, Yelrin began to notice something else. The human's body wasn't just recovering, and it was adapting. Each time they ran a scan, his stress levels dropped faster than before. His body was adjusting to the environment, as if learning from injury itself. Yelrin recorded a new note in his log. Human resilience is not random. It is learned. Their bodies remember how to survive. He stared at the sleeping human and added softly, How many times has your species danced so close to death to evolve such strength? The Galactic Medical Council soon sent a message to Yelrin. Prepare for observation. The human subject's biology has become a matter of scientific interest. Council team arriving in 2 cycles. Kor looked worried after reading it. Doctor, if the council studies him, they might treat him like a lab specimen. Yelrin frowned. I will not allow that. He is my patient, not a test subject. Kor lowered his head. Still, they will come. On the next rotation, Aaron was walking again, slowly, carefully, but walking. His legs trembled, his body still weak, yet his determination was fierce. The medics tried to stop him, but he insisted, I need to move. Muscles heal better that way. Yelrin followed beside him, ready to intervene if he fell. You are extraordinary, Human Blake. Your recovery has surpassed even my imagination. Aaron chuckled. We call it stubbornness back home. The alien doctor tilted his head. Then stubbornness must be your species' greatest weapon. Aaron smiled. You're not wrong. As they walked through the med bay, the other patients stared in quiet admiration. A few whispered in alien tongues, calling him Painwalker, one who walks through agony without fear. Later, Yelrin gathered a few senior physicians to observe a special test. They measured Aaron's neural tolerance. The results were stunning. The pain stimuli that caused most species to faint barely registered on the human system. His nerves were overloaded, yet his mind adapted, simply tuning the pain out. Yelrin ended the test immediately. Enough. No more pain trials. But Aaron, breathing heavily, just grinned. See, still alive? Kor shook his head. Doctor, he treats pain like a mild inconvenience. Yelrin answered quietly. To them it is. That night, after the medbay lights dimmed, Yelrin visited Aaron one last time before rest cycle. The human was awake, staring at the ceiling. Can't sleep? Yelrin asked. Aaron shrugged. I've had worse beds. This one's just quiet. The doctor sat beside him. You fascinate me, Lieutenant. You endured more damage than any being I have ever seen. How can you stay calm through it? Aaron smiled faintly. We train for it. Pain's part of life for us. You learn to keep going even when it hurts, sometimes especially when it hurts. Yelrin looked thoughtful. You say that as if pain is strength. Aaron nodded slowly. It is. If you can live through it, it means you're still fighting. The next morning, the council ships arrived. The visitors filled the medical station, tall beings in silver armor and white robes carrying scanners and tablets. They surrounded Yelrin's medbay, demanding access to the human subject. When they entered Aaron's room, they expected to see a dying creature. Instead, they found him standing, stretching his arms and cracking a grin at them. Morning, he said cheerfully. You the new doctors? The council observers looked stunned. One whispered, He stands. Impossible, Aaron chuckled. I get that a lot. They began scanning him from head to toe, discussing results in low, serious voices. One of them asked coldly, Human Blake, how do you survive such damage? Aaron thought for a moment, then said simply, We don't think about dying. We think about what comes next. The alien stared, confused. To them, fear of death was natural. But this human treated death as a delay, not an ending. When they finally left, Yelrin stayed behind, still amazed. Lieutenant, I believe your kind may be the toughest species in the galaxy. Aaron grinned. Maybe. Or maybe we're just too dumb to stop trying. The alien doctor laughed for the first time in days, a strange clicking sound. Whatever it is, the galaxy will never see you the same way again. Aaron raised an eyebrow. That's fine. We're used to being misunderstood. That night, as the medical station drifted silently through the stars, Yelrin recorded his report. The human subject continues to defy medical logic. His recovery rate surpasses every prediction. He shows no fear of pain and minimal psychological distress. I begin to suspect this trait is not abnormal. It may be universal among humans. If so, their species is the galaxy's most durable form of life. He paused, then added softly, Perhaps pain does not define them. Perhaps endurance does. In his chamber, Aaron looked out the window at the stars. His reflection in the glass showed the faint scars of healing, reminders of how close he had come to death. News travels fast in space, especially when it's unbelievable. The story of Lieutenant Aaron Blake, the human who survived 17 broken bones and still smiled, spread like wildfire through the galactic network. Within 3 standard days, the name The Unbreakable Human appeared in every communication hub across 100 worlds. 1. Word spreads through the stars on. The trade stations, aliens whispered about him. On military ships, officers discussed his recovery during meal breaks. On peaceful planets, medical students replayed his scans in disbelief. Some species called him a miracle. Others called him a monster in disguise. To most aliens, pain was the ultimate weakness, something to fear, something to avoid. Yet here was a creature that treated it as a mild inconvenience. Dr. Yelrin, who had treated Aaron since the accident, found himself flooded with messages from scientists and reporters. Every alien wanted to know, how could a creature live through that much pain? Inside Med Station Trivax 9, reporters tried to get interviews, But Yelrin refused. "He is not a lab animal," he said firmly. "He is a patient, and my friend." Still, curiosity spread faster than he could stop it. Visitors from across the galaxy 2 cycles after the Council's inspection, new ships arrived at Trivax 9. The docking bay filled with visitors, military observers, medics, biologists, even ambassadors. They came from every corner of the galaxy, drawn by the legend of the human who refused to die. Inside the med bay, Aaron tried to stay calm as he became the center of attention. He sat on the bed, fully dressed this time in simple medical clothes, when a group of tall insectoid aliens entered the room. Their translator unit clicked. "Human Blake, we request to observe your physical condition." Aaron chuckled. "Sure, but I'm not dancing for you." The translator buzzed in confusion. "Dancing?" Dr. Yelrin stepped in quickly. "He means you can watch but do not expect performance." The aliens nodded, recording everything. They ran small tests measuring pulse, bone density, and nerve responses. Every reading broke their instruments. One scientist murmured, "His heart rate is 50% higher than our species' pain tolerance limit, yet he shows calm." Another said, "No sedation, impossible." Aaron grinned. "Sedation makes me feel weird. I'd rather not." They stared at him like he had just declared war on logic. The meeting room debate later, the observers gathered in the council chamber aboard the station. Yelrin stood in the center, defending the human's case. A reptilian doctor slammed his tail. "This human cannot be natural. No life form endures this much without enhancement." Yelrin responded, voice steady. "I ran every scan. He is unmodified. His body simply refuses to stop healing." A long-eared alien hissed. "Then imagine an army of them. They would be unstoppable." The room grew tense. Some aliens began to fear what humanity could do if it ever decided to fight. Kor whispered to Yelrin, "They are not only amazed, Doctor, they are afraid." Yelrin looked tired. "Yes, they should be careful. Admiration and fear are close cousins." Aaron sighed. Meanwhile, Aaron had no idea what kind of storm he had started. He was busy walking around the med bay with a light exo-frame helping him stay balanced. Each day he got stronger. One young alien nurse named Thierry followed him nervously. "Human Blake, you must not overexert yourself." Aaron smiled. "Relax, Thierry. I'm just stretching my legs. But you are not fully recovered," he shrugged. "Neither was I last time I broke something." Thierry looked shocked. "You broke bones before this?" Aaron laughed softly. "Oh yeah, a few times. Sports, training, you name it. Humans break easy but heal quick. You get used to it." The alien blinked. "You get used to pain?" "Sure," Aaron said. "Pain means you're still alive." Thierry's eyes widened. "You are terrifying." Aaron smiled kindly. "Nah, just human." 5. A galaxy in aweback on other worlds, news networks began broadcasting documentaries. Humans, the painwalkers of Earth. Footage of Aaron repairing a drone while injured played across alien cities. For some species, it became a symbol of courage. For others, a warning. In one alien bar on the planet Terrene, 2 merchants argued. "Did you see that human?" one said. "They say he was awake with 17 fractures." The other shuddered. "No creature should live through that. Their species must be from a death world." Another voice from the corner, a small insectoid, added, "If one human can do that, what could 1,000 soldiers do?" A silence followed. No one had an answer. Yelrin's discovery. While the galaxy debated, Dr. Yelrin focused on science. He spent hours comparing human biology to other species. He found something strange. The human nervous system grew stronger after pain. Repeated injuries seemed to train the body to respond faster and recover quicker. Pain wasn't just tolerated, it was processed as data. He shared the discovery with Kor. "Look here. Every time the human's nerves fire in pain, they rebuild stronger connections afterward." Kor stared. "So their biology learns from suffering?" Yelrin nodded. "Exactly. Pain is not weakness for them. It is progress." Kor shivered. That is terrifying. Yelrin's eyes softened. Or inspiring. 7. A visit from the soldiers. A few days later, a Galactic Defense Force ship docked at Trivax 9. A squad of alien soldiers entered the med bay, led by Commander Vroth, a broad-shouldered being with metallic skin. He saluted Yelrin. "Doctor, the Council has sent us to observe the humans' combat potential." Aaron overheard and frowned. "Combat potential? I'm not a test dummy." Vroth smiled politely. "Of course not, Lieutenant Blake. We merely wish to understand your endurance, in case humanity and the Council work together in future missions." Aaron crossed his arms. "You mean you want to see how much punishment a human can take?" The commander hesitated. "In simple terms, yes." Aaron sighed, then looked at Yelrin. "You trust these guys?" The doctor nodded slowly. "They mean no harm." Aaron shrugged. "Fine, but I'm not breaking any more bones today." The test, the aliens set up a controlled simulation room, gravity field adjusted, pressure sensors ready. Aaron stood at the center wearing a monitoring suit. The idea was simple: measure how his body handled stress compared to other species. First, they increased gravity slowly. Most species began losing strength at 1.5 G. Aaron didn't even notice until 3G. He smiled. "You call this heavy? You should see Earth gyms." The aliens exchanged uneasy looks. Next, they simulated temperature changes, from extreme cold to burning heat. Aaron sweated, shivered, but stayed calm. When the test ended, Commander Vroth stared at the data. "Incredible. No known species tolerates such extremes." Aaron laughed lightly. "Guess that's what happens when your home planet tries to kill you every season." The commander chuckled nervously. "Your world sounds horrifying." Aaron grinned. "That's why we're good at living." The fear begins. Not everyone reacted with admiration. In the shadowed halls of the council ship, some whispered darkly. "If one injured human can recover this fast," said one delegate, "imagine them in war." Another hissed, "They could destroy us all if angered." The fear of humanity began to grow. But Yelrin stood against it. He sent a transmission to the council. "You see a weapon. I see a survivor. Do not fear them. Learn from them. If pain is their teacher, then courage is their faith." His message was shared across several worlds, calming some of the tension. For many young species, humans became a symbol of endurance, proof that life could thrive even in suffering. 10. The conversation that changed everything. Later that evening, Yelrin visited Aaron's room again. The human was sitting by the observation window, staring at the stars. "Something bothering you, Lieutenant?" Yelrin asked. Aaron sighed. "Just thinking. You aliens keep acting like I did something special. But back home, this wouldn't even make the news." Yelrin blinked. "What do you mean?" Aaron looked at him, serious now. "You ever hear of a man named Shackleton? Or Armstrong? Or the divers who go under frozen oceans? Humans have always pushed limits. We don't do it because we want to be heroes. We do it because someone has to." Yelrin listened silently, amazed at the quiet strength in his tone. Aaron continued, "Pain's not the end for us. It's just a step. You take it, you get up, and you keep walking. That's what being human means." The alien doctor smiled softly. "Then perhaps that is your true strength, not muscles or bones, but spirit." Aaron chuckled. "Maybe. We're too stubborn to quit." Plamen. A new name that same week, an alien. Historian released a report about humans titled, "Painwalkers, the species that smiles through fire." The name spread across the network. Children on distant planets began playing games pretending to be painwalkers. Soldiers quoted human sayings before battle. And for the first time, aliens began to admire humans not just for their courage, but for their heart. 12. The call for help. Just as things seemed to calm down, an urgent message arrived at Trivax 9. A nearby colony, Velen Outpost, was under attack by pirate raiders. Many were wounded, and the local defense units were overwhelmed. Dr. Yelren immediately began preparing medical teams. Aaron overheard and stood up. "I'm coming with you," he said. Yelren's eyes widened. "You are still recovering. You cannot fight." Aaron shook his head. "I'm not fighting. I'm helping. You'll need someone who can handle pain and stay on his feet." Core hissed in worry. "Your ribs are still damaged," Aaron smiled. "Then I'll just breathe carefully." Yelren stared at him for a long moment, then finally nodded. "Very well, Lieutenant. You will accompany us, but only as support." Aaron grinned. "Deal." The medical ship Solace 9 shot through hyperspace, engines glowing blue. Inside the cabin, medical drones floated in silence, waiting for orders. Dr. Yelren sat beside the control terminal, reading the distress reports. The colony Velen outpost had been attacked by pirates, brutal scavengers who didn't care if their victims lived or died. Hundreds of colonists were injured. The message ended with static and a single desperate voice. "We need help. Please. Anyone." Yelren's long fingers trembled slightly as he turned off the screen. "This is not a simple rescue," he said. "The pirates are still there." Across the cabin, Lieutenant Aaron Blake tightened his gloves. "Then we go fast and careful," he said. His ribs still ached, but he didn't show it. His face carried the calm of someone who had seen too much pain and learned to keep moving anyway. 1. Arrival at the burning colony. When Solace 9 dropped out of hyperspace, the sight outside froze everyone. Velen outpost was burning. Flames tore through domed habitats. The sky was thick with black smoke and drifting wreckage. Explosions flashed on the ground where pirate ships strafed the surface. "By the stars," whispered Core, his tail flicking nervously. "They are still attacking." Aaron leaned closer to the viewport. "Then we're going down," he said firmly. Yelren turned to him. "We cannot land until the defense grid is safe." Aaron pointed at a clear spot near the mountains. "There, low ground, less fire. We can start evacuating from there." The pilot hesitated, then followed his command. The ship dove through the smoke, shaking violently as debris slammed against the shields. When they landed, the doors opened. To chaos, heat, screams, and the acrid smell of burned metal. "Move!" Aaron shouted. "We don't have time!" The first rescue. They rushed out with stretchers and medkits. Alien colonists of many species lay injured, some crying, others silent with shock. Yelren ordered his team to form triage zones. Aaron didn't wait for permission. He lifted rubble with his bare hands, pulling trapped survivors out of collapsed shelters. His arm bled where metal scraped it, but he ignored it. A reptilian colonist gasped, "You're bleeding!" Aaron grinned. "You should see the other guy." Yelren shouted over the comm, "Aaron, you must not overstrain your injuries." Aaron yelled back, "Tell that to the fire, Doc. It's not waiting." He carried a childlike alien to safety, his breathing heavy but steady. Around him, the other medics started moving faster, inspired by the human's energy. Even Core, who was terrified of pain, found himself running into the smoke with renewed courage. The human in the fire hours passed in a blur. The pirates had retreated to the far side of the colony, but small fires and explosions kept erupting. Aaron refused to stop. When one of the domes collapsed, he crawled inside despite the toxic air. His exosuit burned in several spots, but he kept moving. Inside, he found 2 colonists pinned under a beam. He grunted, trying to lift it. "Come on, move." The beam didn't budge. His ribs screamed in pain. For a moment, he almost gave up. But then he remembered Earth's training words. Pain means you're alive. He took a deep breath, ignored the cracking sound from his side, and lifted again. The beam moved just enough for the colonists to crawl out. They stared at him in shock. "You saved us," one whispered. Aaron smiled weakly. "Yeah. Now let's get out before this place decides to explode." When he exited, smoke covered his faceplate, and his right arm was burned. Yelren ran toward him, eyes wide. "Your injuries," Aaron interrupted, panting. "Later. We've got more people out there." The doctor looked at him, not with fear now, but with deep respect. The pirate returned. Just when they thought the rescue was ending, warning alarms blared. Kor shouted, "Pirate dropships incoming." Everyone froze. The wounded screamed in terror. The pirates were coming back to finish the job. Yelrin shouted into his comm, "We have civilians. We cannot defend ourselves." Static answered him. Aaron looked around and spotted a wrecked defense turret nearby. "Give me 5 minutes," he said. Yelrin blinked. "What are you doing?" "Buying us time." Without waiting, Aaron ran toward the turret. Bullets and plasma bolts rained from the sky. The pirates were landing fast. He reached the turret, his body already aching from exhaustion, and started rewiring the power core manually. Kor yelled from cover, "You'll get yourself killed." Aaron smiled faintly. Not planning to. His fingers worked fast, connecting burned-out circuits. The power core sparked violently, burning his hand. He hissed in pain but kept going. Finally, with one last shove, the turret hummed to life. He swung it toward the sky and fired. Blue. Plasma lances tore through the smoke, striking a pirate ship dead on. The explosion rocked the valley. The aliens watching from the medical zone cheered wildly. Aaron coughed through the smoke, grinning. "Guess it still works." Then the second dropship fired back. The wound. The blast hit the ground near the turret, throwing Aaron several meters into the air. He landed hard, sliding across broken glass. His vision blurred. His side screamed with sharp agony. His ribs had cracked again, maybe worse. Through the haze, he saw Yelrin running toward him with 2 medics. The doctor knelt beside him. "Aaron, stay still, you're hurt." Aaron groaned. "Just a little fall." "You fool," Yelrin snapped, voice shaking. "You have fractures reopening. You need surgery." Aaron tried to smile but coughed instead. "Can't. Still. People to save." Yelrin gripped his arm. "Listen to me, human. You have done enough." Aaron's eyes locked on the burning horizon. "No, Doc. Not enough. Not while anyone's still screaming." Despite his pain, he tried to get up. His legs trembled, but he stood. Every alien medic watching stared in silence. They had seen bravery before, but this was something else. It wasn't about pride or glory. It was about refusal. The refusal to stop. The turning point. The pirates advanced closer. Plasma fire lit up the sky again. But before they could reach the med zone, a strange sound filled the air. Heavy engines roaring like thunder. Kor looked up. "Reinforcements!" A fleet of galactic defense drones appeared, followed by 2 council frigates. They opened fire on the pirates, blasting them from the sky. The medics and colonists cheered. The pirates tried to flee, but one by one their ships exploded. Aaron exhaled, finally dropping to his knees. "Told you, someone had to buy time." Yelrin caught him before he fell completely. "You mad creature. You saved hundreds," Aaron smiled weakly. "Told you humans are tough." After the battle, when the smoke cleared, the med teams worked non-stop. Hundreds were treated, and many lives were saved. Aaron lay in a medical pod, barely conscious. His vitals flickered weakly, but he was alive, somehow. Yelrin sat beside the pod, watching the human sleep. His mind replayed the day's events, the impossible strength, the pain ignored, the courage shown. Kor entered quietly. "Doctor, is he going to survive?" Yelrin smiled faintly. "If there's one thing I've learned, it's that humans always survive." Kor looked at the sleeping human and whispered, "The galaxy will never see them the same again." Crew. The Council's reaction days later, word of Aaron's actions reached the Galactic Council. The report described how a half-healed human saved an entire colony while suffering multiple internal injuries. In the Great Hall of the Council, thousands listened as the message was read aloud. Lieutenant Aaron Blake of Earth displayed behavior beyond logic or reason. Despite suffering severe pain, he continued rescue operations for 13 continuous hours. Without his actions, Velen Outpost would have been lost. The hall was silent for a long time. Then, slowly, one delegate began to clap. Then another. Then another. Soon, the chamber echoed with the sound of thousands of hands, claws, and tendrils applauding. The name human became more than a curiosity. It became a symbol of strength, not the strength to fight, but to endure. A visit from Yelrin. When Aaron finally woke up, he found himself back aboard Solace 9, surrounded by clean white walls. His body hurt everywhere, but he was alive. Yelrin stood nearby, smiling. "You should be resting for at least a month," he said. Aaron blinked. "Did we save them?" "Yes," Yelrin said softly. "All of them. Because of you." Aaron smiled. "Then it was worth it." The doctor shook his head. "You are a strange creature. No other being would call such pain worth it." Aaron looked at him, his voice calm. "That's what we do, Doc. Pain's part of living. You learn, you heal, you keep going." Yelrin nodded slowly. "The galaxy has learned much from you." Aaron chuckled weakly. "Good. Maybe next time they'll stop thinking we're fragile." 10. The message to Earth. Before they left the system, Yelrin sent a transmission to Earth Command. It contained everything: the data, the recordings, and his final report. His message ended with a few simple words. Humans are not only strong in body, they are strong because they accept pain, not fear it. In every wound they find reason to stand again. Lieutenant Aaron Blake is living proof that courage is not absence of pain, it is mastery of it. Earth Command replied with gratitude, and for the first time, humanity was officially recognized by the Galactic Council as a Class A resilient species, a title no other race had ever earned. 11. The night before departure. Before leaving Velen's orbit, Aaron walked slowly to the observation deck. He leaned on the railing, still healing but steady. Yelrin joined him, carrying 2 cups of nutrient drink. Aaron looked out at the stars. "You know," he said, "I used to think space was cold and empty, but now it feels alive." Yelrin smiled. "It is alive, and watching you very closely." Weeks passed since the battle at Velen Outpost. The fires were gone, the colonies rebuilt, and the name Aaron Blake began to travel, whispered first, then spoken proudly across star systems. In the markets of the Trin Empire, merchants told stories of the human who fought through fire and pain to save others. On the mining moons of Rakor, workers laughed and said, "If a human can fight pirates with broken ribs, we can work another shift." Even in the great Galactic Council halls, Aaron's story became a symbol, a living example of what courage meant. But while the galaxy spoke his name, Aaron himself was quiet. He spent his days on the Solace 9, helping repair the ship and training again, slowly rebuilding his strength. His body still hurt, but he didn't let it stop him. Dr. Yelrin often found him in the gym, sweating, pushing through pain like it was nothing. "Human," the doctor said one morning. "You could rest, you know." Aaron smiled faintly. "Rest comes later, Doc. I've got to keep the engine running." Yelrin tilted his head. "Your species truly does not understand rest," Aaron laughed. "Maybe not, but we understand purpose." A call from the council. One day, Yelrin received a message. It was marked urgent from the Galactic Council itself. He opened it and frowned. "Dr. Yelrin, bring Lieutenant Aaron Blake to Central Station at once. His presence is requested before the council assembly." Kor, standing beside him, blinked. "They want him? Personally?" Yelrin nodded slowly. "Yes, the galaxy wants to meet its new legend." Aaron, who overheard, grinned. "Guess I'm famous now." Kor looked nervous. "You're more than famous. Half the galaxy thinks you're invincible." Aaron chuckled. "Let's hope they never find out I'm not." Down the journey to Central Station. The trip took 2 days through hyperspace. Central Station wasn't just any place, and it was the heart of galactic politics, a massive structure floating above a red dwarf star. Thousands of ships came and went daily. When Solace 9 arrived, an escort of Silver Council drones guided them in. The station's interior was bright, filled with banners of different species. Aliens of all shapes and sizes gathered near the docking bay, murmuring excitedly. Some held hollow devices trying to get a glimpse of the famous human. When Aaron stepped out, a wave of sound filled the air. Cheers, applause, and even strange alien calls. He looked around, surprised. "All this for me?" Yelrin smiled. "Yes, Lieutenant. You have become an icon." Aaron scratched his neck awkwardly. "That's weird. I just did what anyone should do," Kor laughed. "That's exactly why they admire you." The Council Assembly. The Grand Hall of the Galactic Council stretched wide, filled with floating platforms for delegates of hundreds of species. At the center was a circular floor glowing softly, the place where honored guests stood. As Aaron walked to the center, he felt thousands of alien eyes watching him. Some filled with awe, some with disbelief, some with quiet respect. The High Speaker, a tall insectoid with golden eyes, raised a hand. "Lieutenant Aaron Blake of Earth. You have been called before this council not for punishment, but for honor." Aaron bowed slightly. "Appreciated. Though I'm not much of a speech guy." The hall chuckled softly. Even the serious diplomats couldn't help it. The speaker continued. "Reports show that you risked your life to protect others while suffering from 17 broken bones and multiple internal injuries. No being in known space has survived such trauma. Tell us, Human Blake, why did you do it?" Aaron thought for a moment. Then he spoke simply, "Because they needed help." The speaker tilted his head. "Even when you were dying?" Aaron nodded. "Especially then. Pain doesn't stop you from doing what's right. It just reminds you what's at stake." The hall fell silent. Even the most powerful species, those who believed emotion made them weak, couldn't ignore the truth in his voice. "Tabor, the speech that changed the galaxy, the Sar." Speaker leaned forward. "And what does pain mean to your kind, human?" Aaron smiled faintly. "Pain means we're still alive. It means we have something to fight for. Back on Earth, we don't fear it. We learn from it. Every scar, every wound, it's a story of survival." He looked around the hall, meeting as many alien eyes as he could. "You all think humans are strange because we laugh when we're hurt, or because we get back up when we fall. But that's not strange to us. That's who we are. We don't give up, not because we're fearless, but because we feel everything and still keep going." A ripple of emotion moved through the assembly. Some aliens looked down, ashamed. Others nodded slowly, deeply moved. Aaron finished softly. "So, if you ask me why I risked my life, it's simple. Someone had to." The silence that followed was heavy, respectful, powerful. Then, slowly, one of the delegates, a crystalline being, began to tap its claws together. Another joined in. Then another. The hall erupted in applause, a storm of sound that echoed through the chamber. For the first time in its long history, the Galactic Council gave a standing ovation to a single human. The honor of humanity. After the assembly, the speaker made a formal declaration. "By the order of the Galactic Council, the species known as Homo sapiens, humans of Earth, are hereby recognized as a Class A resilient civilization. Their courage under pain and their compassion under fire shall serve as a model for all life in the galaxy." The banners changed color, displaying Earth's symbol beside those of ancient worlds. Aliens bowed their heads in respect as the human flag appeared among the stars. Yelrin stood beside Aaron, smiling proudly. "You have changed history." Aaron looked at the glowing banners and said quietly, "I didn't do it alone. Pain may test one person, but courage is something we share." The interviews and the message over the next few days, Aaron was invited to speak with leaders, soldiers, and students. Every world wanted to understand humanity's strength. A young alien cadet once asked him, "Human Blake, aren't you afraid of pain?" Aaron smiled gently. "Of course I am. Pain hurts. But fear doesn't decide what I do. Another alien journalist asked, "Do you think other species can be like humans?" Aaron chuckled. "You already are. You just forgot it. Every species has courage. You just need to remember it when things go wrong." The recordings of his interviews spread fast. Entire planets replayed his words. Soldiers on distant worlds carried his quotes into battle. Doctors used his story to encourage patients not to give up. Even children drew pictures of humans with fire in their hearts, calling them the unbreakable ones. The quiet moment one evening, After all the ceremonies ended, Aaron stood alone in the viewing deck of Central Station. Stars stretched endlessly before him. Yelrin approached quietly, holding 2 mugs of warm synth coffee. "You never rest, do you?" Aaron took the cup, smiling. "Trying to learn," the doctor looked out at the stars. "You have given the galaxy something it forgot, the power of endurance." Aaron nodded slowly. "Maybe, but it works both ways." "I learned something too." Yelrin raised an eyebrow. "Oh, what is that?" "That we're not alone. For the first time, it feels like maybe, just maybe, humanity belongs out here." Yelrin smiled, his 6 eyes soft. "You always did, Aaron. The galaxy just needed time to see it." Main. The return to Earth months later, Aaron finally returned home. The landing site was crowded with people, soldiers, scientists, even school children waving flags. He stepped off the ship, still wearing his patched-up jacket. Reporters shouted his name. Cameras flashed. But Aaron just smiled and waved once. Earth Command honored him with medals and titles, but he asked for none. Instead, he visited a hospital, sat beside wounded soldiers, and told them stories about alien doctors and stars that sang. He said softly, "Pain doesn't end you. It reminds you you're still here." Every person who heard him, human or alien, felt something shift inside. The galaxy remembers years past, but the legend of Aaron Blake only grew. Some called him the man who wouldn't break. Others called him the Firewalker. To many, he became a symbol, proof that even the smallest, most fragile-looking species could possess the strongest spirit. Across the galaxy, statues of him were built, not of glory or weapons, but of a man standing tall, scarred but smiling. And on the base of every statue, a simple inscription was written, "Pain means we're alive, and as long as we live, we fight." 10. The final reflection years later, Dr. Yelrin, now an old alien with dim eyes, sat in his study reading an old file, Case H47, Human Resilience Study, Aaron Blake. He smiled softly, remembering the first time he met that strange creature who refused to stay in bed. Kor entered carrying a tray. "Doctor, are you thinking about him again?" Yelrin nodded. "Yes, the galaxy has advanced so much since then. Yet I still believe our greatest discovery wasn't a medicine or a machine. It was him." Kor smiled. "A reminder that pain is not weakness." "Exactly," Yelrin said quietly. "It is the proof of life." He looked out the window at the stars and whispered, "Thank you, human. You taught us all how to stand again, and legacy among the stars in time." The story of Aaron Blake became more than history. It became a belief. On distant worlds, people told their children, "When things get hard, remember the human who said, 'Oh,' that and kept going." Whenever disaster struck in a storm, a war, a tragedy, someone would always whisper, "Be like the human. Don't break.